Hello everybody, I made it for 12. It's been a hectic morning already. We are looking at the Focus on the Face series. This is actually the 5th in a series. If you missed any and you want to catch them, they are available on my Facebook wall, my Instagram TV, and on YouTube. In the first one, we talked about primer and skin types. In the second one, we talked about all of the different types of foundation. In the third one, we did color matching. What's the best shade for you? And in the fourth one, we did tools, which I'm going to talk about some tools today as well. But today we're talking about concealer, or like what I like to say, covering my 50 shades of dark circles, because you can see not many people have worse dark circles than I do. Because not only do I really have more, I have a true circle. Like sometimes people say I have dark circles when really you just have like a dark moon, or you just have a little bit of dark right here. I have a full circle, all right? So if I can cover them, then obviously you can too. But there are some tips and tricks that I can teach you about concealer, and that's what today's is about. First of all, when we talked about the different types of concealer, we talked about whether they were liquidy, creamy, or powder. If it's a powder, you're going to put your concealer on before. If it's a liquid, you're going to put it on after, okay? Now, but even with a liquid, when I have bad circles like this, I'm going to color correct before I even use my concealer. And there are different ways that you can do it. One of my favorite ways is with our Victorious Cream Shadow. Another way, especially if you have dark shadows, is with and especially if you have dry skin, is using a lip bonbon. And I like to use the chocolate truffle for this. So I'm going to show you, because this moisturizes and it'll color correct. So I'm just going to put it on. And what I'm going to do is do everything right on this side and not on this side. Not where you can see the difference too. Even though this is probably my worst eye. So I'm going to put this on to help color correct. It moisturizes as well, so that's why I really love it. And then I'm going to use the Splurge Cream Shadow on top of it as well. I like to put this on with a blending bud, and you should always wet your blending bud, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Let's get it damp. So you can see that the Victorious is kind of a nude. What I like about using this, especially if you're like me and you have some wrinkles, or if you have worse bags underneath your eyes, this cream shadow is going to cover, but it is also going to turn from a cream to a powder. And when it does, it's going to constrict, and it's going to help eliminate your wrinkles, at least for that day. So I just put a little bit on the blending bud, and I'm just going to press it in. And I go over my eye because, as I told you, I have that whole circle of darkness. So if I would put my eyeshadows on top of that, it would make it not look good. So I need this base, so that it's even. And a lot of people don't have it as bad as I do, but you still probably don't have a total even skin tone there. So you can already see the difference with this cream shadow. It's amazing. So this was with the chocolate truffle underneath. Red will help cancel out that purple that's under your eyes. And then I used the Victorious Cream Shadow. Now, I'm going to actually use the cream shadow on this side, just not the truffle. And I'm just going to put it right in that half moon shake. Because what a lot of people do is they don't come down enough with concealer. And I'm going to show you that with the concealer. Okay? Notice that when I did my thing, I came down in kind of a big triangle here. I want to highlight this whole part of my face. Some people mistakenly think that because this is where the circle is, that they just want to put it there. That's not right. Okay, that's incorrect. That is going to do the opposite of what you want to do. It is going to highlight the area that is the part you don't want people to notice. What you want to highlight is this whole part so that it brings your eye up, and it's just making people look like you just have bright eyes, a bright face. It kind of opens it. It helps if you have any sagging here to kind of bring that up. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to put on the BB Flawless right now, just really quickly put a little bit of it all over with my blending bud to show you that I put it, since it's a liquid, I'm going to put that concealer on after. Now, there are many reasons to put it on after. First of all, if you're putting if you've already put your concealer on and then you put your blending and doing all of your liquid or your BB Flawless, whatever, then what happens is you take it off, you might mess up your concealer. So that's why it's good to put it on top. Now, when you're talking about a powder, you don't want to put a cream on top of a powder. So that's why we put it on underneath if I was using the powder. All right. So this is just giving me a basic, even my skin tone. It's a complexion enhancer. If you're interested in this or anything that I'm using today, please just drop a question mark below and I'll get with you. In fact, if you're watching this live or replay, I'd love if you would put hashtag TibTalk, because it does help my algorithm. And if you think this is helpful, I'd appreciate a share, because that helps my network build. So I appreciate both. All right, so we're going to talk now about a concealer. I'm going to show you only one type of concealer because you saw how terrible my dark circles are. This is the best concealer ever, and I have tried practically every single thing on the market. I have had these since I was young. They are hereditary. My mom has them too, and this is the best concealer to conceal it. It is waterproof, it is crease proof, and it does not take a lot. And this will last you forever, at least a year, maybe 2, depending on how it lasts me at least a year, and I have dark circles and use it for everything, including over my brows. Okay, so I'm actually using Velour. When you know your shade, you want your concealer to be lighter than your shade when you're putting under eye circles. Okay, you want it the same as your shade if you're covering up, like say I might use some taffeta to just cover up this little hyperpigmentation that I have with because the BB Flawless doesn't cover it as good as the liquid foundation does. But when you're using underneath your eyes, you want it to be at least 1 shade, possibly 2. I wouldn't go 3. Some people do, but it just depends on your preference. Do you like that real bright under your eyes? Some celebrities like that. It's up to you, okay? But I suggest 1 or 2 shades lighter. All right. Now, this right here is called a concealer brush, so you could put it on with that. I also like to use the eyeliner brush, okay? And I'll show you why I like to use that, because it allows you to really get the line that I want. All right. So what I like to do is put a little bit on my hand. You see, I just have a little bit, and take my eyeliner brush, and I'm going to start at the corner here, and I'm going to go down to the bottom of my nose, okay? And then I'm going to take it and go up here, and then just kind of, okay? So you want it to be in this type of shape. A good rule of thumb also, it's like a check mark, see that? Is to kind of do it on one side and then do it on the other side, because you want it to kind of warm up on your face. Now on this side, I'm going to show you the wrong way so you can see the difference. The wrong way would be to just cover where that dark circle, semicircle is. And you're going to clearly see why you wouldn't do that. All right, then you want that blending bud again. Now, sometimes if you don't have this, or you don't have one like this, you can very well put it on the end of your blending bud and use the tip of it and do the same thing. And sometimes when I'm in a hurry, that's exactly what I do. Make sure your blending bud is wet, okay, when you do this. And make sure that if you're using your blending bud, that you're just pressing it in. If you don't have a blending bud and you want to use your fingers, okay, use your pinky finger because it has the least amount of power. So it's not gonna, if you're trying to do it, like I'll do it on this side, because remember I said this side is gonna be where you see the wrong way. But this is not gonna pull as much in this delicate eye area. So that's why you wanna use it if you're gonna use your finger. Blending buds are great for everything though. So we're going to just blend in. Just kind of pressing it. Sometimes I like to kind of turn it a little bit. Can you clearly, I can clearly see the difference between putting it just right here and putting it like this. So that is going to help you to get rid of your dark circles. Now, you also, I'm going to get my, you also can use setting powder, okay, to make sure. Now, I like to use the bottom of the powder concealer brush, but you could use a blending bud. And then they have a technique called baking where you just really put it very heavy. Now, if you have a lot of wrinkles under your eye, I wouldn't do this. I would just use that splurge first, and I wouldn't put powder. But I'm trying to make sure it stays. I'm going to put it really thick. I'm going to leave it for a little while, and then whisk it off. Okay? Now, I don't have a lot of time right now to show you, but I'd probably leave it a couple of minutes, okay? And then just take the other part and just whisk it off, and that just helps to set it. So that's my tips for concealer and trying to get rid of dark circles, how to apply it, when and where to apply it. Again, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch me, whether it's live or replay, and I would so appreciate a share. If there's anything that I have shown you in any of these series so far, any session of this series so far, please drop a question mark below and I'll message you, and we'll get to making sure that you have the great flawless face that you want to have. Our next session is going to be about setting and finishing, and what's the difference between setting powder, setting spray, and finishing powder. So I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much.